Ladies and gentlemen, we are here now on Daybreak with the ace match of the IPL Grand Finals for the qualifier for the international tournament to see who's going to get an all expenses paid out to IPL 6. Will it be? In the bottom left, our first of two players. He has had quite a tournament thus far, taken down Seed 2-1. He is now here. His name is San. His opponent in the top right-hand corner, having that series versus Hack looking so good, 2-0ing him. Now here, and 1-1 here versus San. It's going to be a tough match. Game 2 was very difficult for him. It's DRG. This is going to be a pretty intense match. Tim, what are your thoughts?
Oh, it's going to be so good, man. San playing so crazy. Throwing in a random play in game number 2 that we were not expecting whatsoever. Threw DRG off. Will DRG allow him to do it again?
I don't know, man, but we know a lot's on the line. It's all decided by this game. Really anxious to see what these players are going to be opening up with. Last game, San looked incredibly awkward. Even in game 1, his build was a little different from what we're used to seeing. And DRG just doesn't seem to be dealing with it all that well. I mean, we talked about it. On Cloud Kingdom, San may have taken that game if DRG hadn't got lucky versus those sentries.
Yeah, I mean, you throw off a player that's used to a certain metagame. And, you know, DRG has the team to play with. They all play the standard metagame. But if you play on the ladder, you'll find things like this. So I wonder if DRG's been really just hunkering down, getting ready for GSL, preparing for the matches that are going to be happening this Friday, and not really doing the best in terms of scouting against his opponent. San doing this, playing it really clever, actually. Just expecting DRG to play a super standard type of game, and he's game 2, man, it really benefited him. I was so surprised by how unready DRG was for that attack.
Things already off to a nice start here for San, by the way. I was surprised as well. It seemed like he kind of was just on autopilot when he saw that third go down.
He was like, oh, snap.
To be perfectly blunt about it. And I mean, San hit with what used to be a very standard all-in play, 2-base Colossus at 1230. He hit at, well, pretty much 1230 actually.
And that was standard like 8 to 10 months ago. That was
very
so
long
ago,
yeah.
Especially in StarCraft World.
He did open Stargate, which made it different, but everything else about it was still very much the same. It was just, I think you hit with 3 or 4 Colossus in that build, and he, of course, only hit with 2. Overall, it was actually a little bit weaker than that all-in, but it was so hard to read.
Well, Nexus first build will be here for San, and he'll be moving into Forge and then follow up into the normal wall off at the natural, and DRG should move up into the really quick third. He's already got his leans going down to the bottom right corner, and there goes the drone right away. So this is more standard of an opening for both our players. And I kind of have to ask you, you did game 1, game 2, you played a little bit differently. Game 3, do you go in standard, or you try and be a little bit more creative as well?
You know, I gotta say, man, the creativity has been working out for San.
Yeah.
Even in game 1, it would have been very, very close. Game 2, he just dominated. I think if he plays standard, maybe he's gonna be a little uncomfortable with it. He hasn't played that way throughout this set. Maybe it is the game where you go for a crazy all-in. I could see that in this situation because although he has played awkward, it's still mostly been standard, just with some craziness thrown in. I mean, how do you describe San's builds? I could write a book on it, to be completely honest.
Well, his force fields have been pretty cool. They've been pretty on point for the most part, except for game 1, where unfortunately he got surrounded in there and his force fields a little bit tad late, and Lings were in there. And
but if we go to his set versus Seed, remember those force fields that absolutely won him that game on Cloud Kingdom.
Yeah,
game number 3.
Very proactive in him. He'll hit him. He's not afraid to slam those force fields down. So a Sentry Immortal all-in, which is pretty strong on this map. A lot of players have been finding ways to get across the middle of the map without losing any force fields.
Yeah.
That could go well for San, and that would be more of a standard play for him.
Oh, Tim. What? And he throws down a gas at the exact time that you would for an Immortal Sentry all-in. But DRG does see this.
Yeah. Perhaps DRG thinks, if DRG were to think, okay, he's being creative, that means he won't do that type of play, and suddenly you throw that play in his face, DRG could be caught being a little bit too greedy in a scenario. But we do have a Twilight Council being thrown down, so there goes all that theory.
Yeah.
San going for the Twilight Council into a Robo.
That he is, and you know, there's a couple of builds that you actually do out of the one gas, and of course the Robo Twilight Expand is one of them. Though with San, we honestly can't say definitely that he'll use that expansion. It will be likely he goes for the Expo here. Stalker's actually even already heading down to the third base to take a look around.
Man, I'm really enjoying just watching San and watching his build unfold. I can't predict him, which I love that. That makes it so hard for his opponent to predict him as well.
You're not like, oh, a Raven's on the way. Well, he's going to use the point defense drone to stop the...
Yeah. You can't do that.
Gumiho's play so incredibly well the other night.
Yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, I love it, man, because now I become a viewer with the ability to get some casting in.
Yeah.
But it gets me more excited for the match. And now we have a couple more gateways on the way, and we're moving into a Dark Shrine. Tell me when was the last time you saw a Dark Shrine when Huck wasn't playing in a ZVP?
You know, we've seen a few of them here, to be completely honest, but the timing here is very interesting. With the Robo, in fact, is what's really impressive here. He's going to be using it to get out this Warp Prism, is also going to have +1. We'll see how this works out for San. I'm nervous, man. I got San to take this 2-1. And, you know, DRG, he is not a player who is easily caught off guard by Dark Templar. Not at all.
Well, we do have him falling up into Roaches here. He's going to move into that 1 Evolution Chamber as well, just playing the safer route here. He has moved into a 3rd and 4th gas same time. So DRG is going to have a nice amount of tech available, and we'll be able to ramp up a lot of strength very soon here, depending on how many Overlords he wants to go for. Dark Shrine is completed. Where did the Warp Prism go, actually?
The lair timing here is everything. The Warp Prism making its way across the bottom of the map has yet to be seen. Lynx will be heading in right now. Let's see what kind of information he gets. He sees a Stalker, and that's it. Sees no other units. DRG could definitely throw down some spores for safety because he hasn't seen anything. That would be a very, very safe maneuver. I'm waiting to see an Overseer now that his lair is completed. He's actually coming in with this unit, but we've got the DTs coming into the 3rd base, Tim, and they are immediately going for the hatchery.
And this is what San does when he uses DTs. He goes for hatchery snipes. He doesn't go for drones, and he's going straight for it. 17 seconds for that Overseer to pop out, and it's not even, it's very close to being done, but the hatchery is already killed off, and there we go. Looks like San will take a huge lead here with killing off that hatchery for 3 DTs. Nice build for him, and he's moving up into a 3rd Nexus as well. San fans are going crazy in chat, I know it.
Oh, but there is a Dark Templar in the natural expansion. It killed 7 workers before going down. That actually takes San within 10 workers of his opponent. In fact, 8 is now the deficit, and oh, okay, he gets 7 kills. Only 4 of them were, in fact, workers, but very nice play here from San.
And now we just see San pull back with that Warp Prism, moves into the 3rd as mentioned, and now moving into a couple of pylons, get those photon cannons up, and get a wall fortified at that 3rd. And it looks like he's actually keeping a little bit of aggression on that hatchery down the bottom right corner. There's a little blue dot there. Oh, okay, it's just a changeling there from DRG. But, wow. That little bit of a build, man. You throw off your opponent with 3 ETs, they do a lot of damage very soon. It takes 17 seconds for an Overseer to pop, and that hatchery was done before that even happened.
Absolutely. What I'm very surprised, though, to see is that DRG is not following this up with a quick 4th base. He is, in fact, teching to Mutalisks. He still is going to have his missile attacks on the ground, and he started up Metabolic Boost so he can use these Lings he's got.
That one Stalker scared away 20 Lings. That's a really strong Stalker.
Yeah, I'm a little stunned right now. I mean, there's a lot of Zerglings here. Where's the Overseer, actually? I mean, the DTs will just rip apart this army. He made them into an Archon. Never mind.
So yeah, Archons are really good against this composition. They are really good at Lings. They take a lot of damage there. Nice force builds are going to be landed here. A little bit of bots there. Some Lings to get away. Could add an opportunity to do more, but taking out about a quarter of those Lings will force DRG to pull back a little bit. And now he takes that 4th that you were mentioning earlier. But I agree. I feel like it's a little bit on the later side.
All right, so Warp Prism is coming in from the top right now. Units do not have speed still for Dongrigu. I believe neither his Roaches. They look a little quick. They are.
Going to be having the DTs unfortunately canceled there, as the Queens will agreed up with that Warp Prism. So San just going to go ahead and move to that 3rd, and this is a great transition. If you kill off the hatchery, suddenly it becomes very efficient to go ahead and start moving your DTs straight into Archons, because you just have a base of your opponent for a little bit there. So San now looking really strong going into this late game, already getting +2 attack, already finished up.
All right, but San has no idea about these Mutas. Will he get a glimpse of them? He's so close, but he has nothing in his main base right now, and DRG is going to be swinging in with these Mutas, definitely going to get some damage in.
Well, Mutas running straight on in. A couple of probes are dying off. A quick pull there from San, and San deciding I'm going to go ahead and move forward here. But DRG expecting that, actually followed up with a lot of Lings here. A lot of them are grouping up right away outside of this 4th base. Can he get this 4th base? The Mutas are on their way back to defend as well.
There aren't a lot of Zealots here, which is going to make these Lings extremely potent. There are also not that many sentries, but the ones that are here do have a lot of energy. The Mutalisks have been thwarted. They are now back at the 3rd base. It looks like DRG is getting ready to come in. San's army is entirely on creep.
Well, the hatchery has been killed off, but yeah, the Lings are getting in right away here, but they don't have that +1 attack, so they're not doing that much damage, but it is Stalkers they're having to deal with. and Immortals, and Lings are really good against Stalkers, especially with the Muta DPS being added into the mix as well. And it looks like San's whole entire army is going to be crushed by DRG as the Immortals do fall.
Incredibly intelligent out of Dongrygu, transitioning after he saw the robotics facility continuing to churn out Immortals. Even after the Dark Templar attack, DRG had no roaches in that composition, and San had over-prepared for that specific unit.
Well, he's going to move straight down to the natural of San here with the roaches joining in as well. The Archon is focused down right away here by DRG, so now he doesn't have to magic buff him so hard as well. And they're pretty good against Stalkers, especially with +1 attack about to finish up for the Mutas. It does hit, and the Stalkers are being killed off. San with creative play early on, unfortunately not doing so hot as DRG is flying straight across the middle of the map.
Oh yeah, too much of it boiling down to the lack of roaches from Dongrygu. An extremely intelligent tech switch from DRG that may win him this game.
It does actually, as San is calling GG here. DRG taking first place and has won a trip to IPL 6 at the end of March. Congratulations, DRG, man. That was really cool.
He played really well. He was definitely behind in that game. San, as we mentioned with the creative opening, did a great job sniping that hatch, not taking any damage, expanding behind it, but DRG with that tech switch wins himself an all-expensive paid trip. San, of course, is still seated in, but he will not be getting all the accommodations.
Yeah. Well, guys, congratulations, DRG. That's really cool. That's going to be it for us here at the international qualifiers for the IPL 6 at the end of March. I believe we got some amateur qualifiers and satellites as well floating around, but that's going to be it for this week for us. I believe we got some GSTL action coming to you tomorrow, but that's it, man. Thank you so much for watching. I'm IPL Robin. If you want to give me a follow and any feedback, and then Kibbles, where can they find you?
At Kibbles, Kibbelz. Guys, follow the IGN Pro League at IGN Pro League. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, same thing. And if you haven't scored your tickets to DICE already, they're absolutely free. And hotels in Vegas, if you haven't looked, flights and hotels are really, really inexpensive. So you guys can have a great time going out to that event, see some very high-level play. Go.ign.com/DICEIPL.
Alrighty, guys, that's it. Let's go ahead and end out the stream tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a long broadcast today, starting from 11 a.m. We'll see you guys tomorrow.